It is Talking Reds. It's Neil Atkinson with Harriet Prior after Liverpool win to go into the Champions League final, their third Champions League final in 5 years, where they will face either Real Madrid or Manchester City. I've got Harriet Prior here, and post-match, Harriet, Virgil, gave a really interesting little interview. And in it he said, to think 12 months ago, I wasn't even near playing football. And I keep sort of harking back to 12 months ago. 12 months ago we were in grounds. 12 months ago the idea even of that game being played in Valencia in front of however many thousands of raucous, not Valencia, Villarreal supporters would have, if still felt like it was such a long way off. Virgil felt like he was a long way off. Joe Gomez felt like he was a long way off. Joel Matip felt like they were a long way off. Liverpool felt a long way off. And then you get 12 months on and you get last night.
Yeah, we didn't even know what was going on in the wider world, did we? We didn't know where we'd be in 12 months' time, in 2 months' time, 3 months' time even. And now to think that we have a lot of this to thank to the players that came in. You know, I liked the wrap put up, Nat Phillips and Reece Williams on Instagram this morning, because we should be thinking back to that and thinking, we said throughout the whole pandemic we're not going to take it for granted when we get back. And if I'm honest, I feel like there's been times this season, and I'm guilty of it, where I've not sat there and thought, okay, I've not
Football.
really realised exactly what we're able to witness again, and the fact we're able to share that with everyone again, and not watch it basically on our own in living rooms, and then 12 months on to be planning a trip to Paris for a Champions League final. It feels all a bit ridiculous, and I think we need to all just sit back today and realise what's happened.
I think the idea of allowing a brief pause to wallow in the moment matters. You know, you think about 17-18 and they go to Rome, and what was happening in the league didn't sort of entirely matter. They needed to, I think, at that point, get one more win to confirm Champions League status. 18-19 was tumultuous. There was the 4-0 against Barcelona, yep. Which then led into, I think there was only one more or two more league games at that point. You know, obviously we will come to Tottenham, thoughts will come to Tottenham, but the idea of there being a little period of time for us, and possibly even for the footballers themselves today, to be able to think, my God, that's 3 finals in 5 years, we've done brilliantly. Yeah,
well, Mo Salah said last night, he gave a really honest interview actually, and they said, how long are you able to enjoy this for? And he said, tonight we can enjoy it, and then tomorrow we start training again for the match at the weekend. For us sitting here, we can take a bit longer, can't we, and think about everything that's been going on, purely because we don't have to play a game of football on Saturday. Well, I hope we don't, because it wouldn't go well. But yeah, just taking a minute to realise the achievements of yes, the last 5 years, but also of this season so far, and the fact we're in 3 finals, played 1, won 1, got 2 to come up, still in the Premier League, and everyone's talking about it, and why shouldn't we be? Why shouldn't we be getting excited about what this squad and what this group have done, and what this manager has done already? So 3 finals in 5 years, it just is unbelievable, really, isn't it? And it's kind of made normal. The success of this team and how well they play week in, week out has been normalised, to the extent that one bad half yesterday, everyone lost their heads. I mean, you should have looked at Twitter at half-time. I regret doing it, because everyone's head had gone.
I did not look at Twitter at half-time.
And we knew they'd be fine. So.
I don't want to see what awful things Tom was saying. There is within there, I think, what the first half actually does is it does frame how excellent they have been. Games like that have been very, very few and far between. It's probably the first game like that sort of follows that profile since West Ham, maybe, earlier in the season. That takes you all the way back to November for that. You know, and I think that in and of itself is possibly the only one, maybe Brentford, but Brentford, in the end, it didn't feel as though they were coming off second best. It just felt like they were struggling. Like, they had a half there where we got to see how brilliant they have been.
Well, yeah, and it wasn't good, was it? I think we can all be honest about that. There was no sense of being able to keep the ball, control the game, and I think that's what maybe surprised us most, is that throughout this season we've really seen them grow in the sense that they can manage games, and they don't lose their heads when they're only 1-0 up or 2-1 on 90 minutes. They're still really, really calm. But yesterday we saw them lose their heads a little bit. I mean, it was like, who didn't want the ball?
Yeah.
I've never seen Thiago not want the ball more, not want to make a good pass more. It was absolutely mad. But some half-time talk, I think, from Klopp. Salah said he was talking at first and then he was shouting, which, I mean, fair enough. I think that's what we were all doing in Madrigal as well, wasn't it? So
there was talking at first and shouting. I can well imagine that was the case. They, with them as a collective, they've achieved this, I think, by managing emotion really, really well. Managing emotion, I think sometimes when we use that sort of language, we think it means blocking emotion out. And that isn't what I think they do at all. I think for me, the way in which they manage emotion is they actually harness it. yesterday, I think, was possibly the first time where in the first half the harnessing got out of control for them. But they've been brilliant at finding their way through moments in games where they're harnessing, even away from home, not just at home, they're harnessing the emotions of what's on around them.
Yeah, definitely. I think you saw it a little bit maybe in the first half against Everton, actually, where you felt like they were feeding off what the opposition were trying to do to them, and they were getting a bit frustrated in their own game. And then I felt like in the second half, like you said, they just harnessed it all and thought, okay, let's use that, but let's not use that to lose our heads. Let's use that to play a really good half of football, because we knew we were well better than them. We knew we could outplay them. We just knew we needed to just keep the ball and actually play our style of football. So it wasn't ever a case of if we could, it was just why we couldn't in the first half. But like you said, I think we used all of those emotions even from the first half yesterday and thought, right, let's all calm down now and we'll be fine. But it wasn't a nice feeling, was it? Going,
no.
You know, that half time we sat there, it didn't feel good. But I'm kind of happy it happened, because at the end of it all, if we'd have just gone through last night, it was 4-0, we'd have just been sat here being like, oh, that was easy, it was inevitable. It wasn't inevitable. At half-time, we'd lost the lead from Anfield. We didn't know what was going to happen in the second half. The crowd, but obviously we're not there, but it sounded like a really good atmosphere in there. They had a lot to do, and they did it.
The other things, there's been games that it reminds me of a little bit as well. There was a game in 18-19 against Southampton, away from home, where in the second half, well, in the first half, Southampton are swarming all over us. There's more Shane Long than I've ever seen in my life. And all of a sudden, Southampton go 1-0 up, and it's whilst we know we need to win every game. And Keita just gets a goal from nowhere, and then it sort of calms a little bit the match. But we have to allow, I think, the idea that an opposition side, I don't think that the Villarreal did anything that was particularly tactically exciting. They just absolutely swarmed all over Liverpool, took massive risks, defended the halfway line, compressed the pitch, and made space really, really hard for Liverpool, and made Liverpool's decision-making difficult. I say this like it's easy. It obviously isn't easy, because sides don't do it every week, but it was interesting to see what happens when you're coming up against a side who've got nothing to lose, who've rested at the weekend, who've got completely fresh legs, that they throw everything, like almost themselves physically, at Liverpool, and that's what they did.
They do, and I almost wonder whether they wish they'd done that a little bit more at Anfield, but I think you see in the second half where they didn't, because it was unsustainable, wasn't it? There wasn't a chance they could play like that for the entirety of the 90 minutes, because their legs and their heads are gone by the end of it. But I'm glad they did that. I'm glad that they just threw themselves at the game. I'm glad that they tried to make us panic a bit. And look, it clearly worked. And for all that's said about their manager, he knows how to win. He knows how to win in cup games, and we've seen that over 2 legs. He knows how to win a game of football, and we've seen that throughout his managerial career, really. So they came out with a clear plan, not necessarily tactically, but a plan to frustrate, just to come at us and see what happened and see what came off yesterday. And our defenders said, yeah, sure, here you go. Here's the goal. That was fun, wasn't it?
It was indeed. Quickly, Alisson t-shirt, and a Diogo Jota t-shirt, and there will be a Diaz t-shirt on sale very soon. It looks the business, and there will be a full range of t-shirts commemorating Liverpool's 5th European Cup final in 5 years. Third European Cup final in 5 years. The numbers do not make any sense at the moment, but we'll get there in the end. Who do you want?
Who do I want in what?
The final.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant the t-shirt.
Not in the t-shirt range.
I really like the t-shirt range, to be clear, but who do I want in the final? I definitely want Madrid. I almost want them just for a bit of, okay, we lost in Kiev, let's go and beat them this time. And also, I don't want it. I just feel like every time we play Man City this season, I've been stressed. It's been stressful. I mean, it's going to be stressful regardless.
I was about to say, yeah, the stress is...
But it's almost double jeopardy in the final, because if you're losing, then Man City are winning their first, and it's like, that just feels too much pressure to take when you're sitting in a stadium in Paris and having to win a game of football. But regardless of who the opponent is, it's just better to play a European opponent rather than an English one. Do you not want Madrid?
I'm not as cut and dry. I think the general sort of consensus view is we'd all rather have Madrid. Yeah. I'm not quite as cut and dried in that camp. I'm more not bothered than anything, because I really would not want to lose to Real Madrid again. In the same way that you pointed about City, I would really feel like that was a massive blow if it was Madrid. I generally prefer to play non-English teams. There's a thing in the back of my mind that's very 85-86, which is that Liverpool were chasing down Everton and had Everton in the first All Merseyside FA Cup final to come, and 2 games from the end of the season, 3 games from the end of the season, and then 2 games from the end of the season, Everton dropped points and Liverpool overturned that margin and then went into the final at Wembley and beat them for the double. And it was deeply and profoundly satisfying. So, you know, in a universe where we get to somehow overturn City's league lead and then took them to Paris and beat them.
But also the opposite of that, if we don't manage to overturn the lead and then we can say, right, that's motivation now, we can play them in Paris and take that Champions League off them, then that's a similar sense of momentum and motivation.
So I'm just not quite as in the definitely Real Madrid camp, but I do very much understand why people are there. I'm not sort of arguing with the logic. And also it will be entertaining, and I think it would help the league push if Real beat City tonight, because I think it would really unnerve City as well. So, you know, there's pros and cons to all positions. I think it's fair.
I'm just happy we can sit there and watch it
Exactly,
and
we
not
can
be
sit back,
stressed
feet
because
up.
our job is done.
We were all worried about the schedule and the fact that we had to do the more condensed run of games, and now yet again Liverpool have overcome the condensed run of games, and we can have our feet up and we can say, go on then, have a lovely time.
Well, what I was thinking at half time is if we just put the schedule together for summer and we're going to have to push everything forward if we don't go through this tie, so I'm happy that we did. From a purely selfish scheduling perspective, how boring.
Oh, okay. We'll do some comments. We'll do some comments as we go all the way through. People being very, very nice indeed. Philip Jeffries says, fit these Reds, aren't they? Absolutely, Philip. That is indeed the spirit. Phil Pass says, how are the heads? How's the head?
Yeah, not bad actually.
Fine. Yeah. I very much feel as though I've dodged one, which is excellent news. What else have we got? Jam. I just refuse to believe you were christened that. Hopes it's Real Madrid. He or she, or indeed the preserve that is Jam, wants revenge. What else have we got? Phil Mingo has put in lots and lots of French flags saying bonjour. Lee BP says, big shout out to Naby, who went from villain to potential man of the match. I think it's striking to me. I felt he could have taken either of the two centre midfielders the other side of Fabinho off at half time and replaced them with Henderson. And the commentators who managed to deeply and profoundly do me head in last night, there's only so much Fletcher man can take. We're very much pushing this idea of Henderson's warming up for the first sort of 10 minutes of the second half. I think I'm really pleased that other than Diaz, the manager left the other 10 to sort it out. Almost like, go on boys, this is your mess. Can you clear your mess up, please? I'm really, really pleased in a sense, because I do feel a little bit for Jota this morning, because it could have been any of them that got subbed in the end. And it could have been, he could have done 3. In the end, that 10 get to feel like they won the game. And I think that's important for them.
Well, yeah, and Klopp actually said, he was asked in the post-match conference, like, they basically said, oh, Diaz was man of the match. He said, yeah, but I don't want to build into this narrative because it looks like Diogo was the problem and all 11 of them were the problem. He literally said that all 11 of them, any of them could have come off at half-time and none of us would have raised an eyebrow, really. And the commentators throughout the first half were going, keep an eye on Henderson warming up. We literally couldn't see Henderson warming up, so that was a problem in itself. But I think the manager also didn't know who to take him off for, so he wanted to give that bit of grace time in the first half to see who's come out with a bit of a clearer head, who's kept their composure a little bit more, and then dragged one off that he felt needed it. And I'm glad he didn't do it. And Diaz was enough, wasn't he?
Diaz was enough, and Keita was excellent second half. Stephen Canning praises my shirt, as does Lee BP. That is the smart move. It is the position that you definitely want to take. Grafting Diamond was disappointed Virgil didn't pick Humphrey up by the collar and throw him to Portugal. I presume that that's a reference. I haven't seen the post-match interview I've just read the comments. I've not seen the Mouth of the South, Jake Humphrey, interview Virgil van Dijk yet. So I will very much back you on that grafting diamond. So yes, I can well imagine that was a situation. Ronnie Hot Dogs, again, you just weren't christened it, Ronnie. I don't know why you don't put your proper name down. Virgil's recovery is miraculous. Big up the medical Reds. A lot of praise for Reece and Nat as they come all the way through on this, and everyone is coming together. There is the Spaniard asks if Rob is okay after his Twitter thing.
Lots of comments, isn't there?
Loads of comments, yeah, very much so.
Very excited Reds this morning, fair enough.
Yes, very, very excited Reds, and it's good to see. Obviously, very, very good to see. There's some table chat. I like the fact that the table's mad, so don't... The Spaniard said, how's Rob Gutman doing after he blew up Twitter with his hot take? I mean, what I would say is that, you know, Rob gets to have a view, and I think that in general you can make an argument that football needs more exciting games between sides that are, like, for instance, what's the fucking point of Southampton right now?
What was his hot take, sorry?
He basically said it feels as though it's almost like an administrative error when you get towards the end of the season. There's only 1 point in a league battle, so would it be the end of the world if the top two had to play each other again? Words to that effect, which you can make an argument for. I just wouldn't make it 4 games before the end of the season. I think in general, you know, there's a lot of evidence that people watch football for one of three reasons. One, their team is playing. Four reasons. One, their team is playing. Two, it's a big game at the top of the table. Three, it's a big game at the bottom of the table. Four, Liverpool or Manchester United are playing. There's literally studies that prove that. So the idea of, would it be the end of the world if there was a way to get more games towards the end of the season between the sides at the top and between the sides at the bottom separately? Lots of leagues do that. It's not an outrageous one, but the timing of it was terrible. What actually happened was Peter Lim's best mate, Gary Neville, did a quote tweet and encouraged a bit of a pile-on, and I thought it was moody as fuck, and if I get the opportunity ever to meet Gary face to face, I will let him know that sort of conduct is moody as fuck, to be quite honest with you. But then he'll be busy enough losing 90 grand a week financially doping his way out of League 2 with Salford City and Peter Lim's help. Clip that. Right, where are we? Congratulations to Nat Phillips for confirming promotion to the Premier League with Bournemouth last night. Wow, other football happened. It's always mad when that happens, isn't it?
Klopp got up and said, congratulations, Nat, as well.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
How does he know?
It was a really nice moment.
That's why we were crap first half. He was watching Bournemouth when he should have been doing a team talk.
He wasn't even watching us. He was just watching Bournemouth on his phone.
Bournemouth on his phone there. Absolutely getting behind Nat. Honestly, he needs to sort that out. Dreadful stuff.
It was an exciting game, wasn't it? Nottingham Forest.
How would I know?
It was second and third. It was
I knew that.
I didn't watch the game,
right.
but I just, seen narratives, seen things going on,
so
looked at Twitter.
So Bournemouth won, did they?
Bournemouth won, and they're back in the Premier League next season.
I'm astonished that any other form of life really happens when we're playing, certainly a big match like that.
Sometimes I look out the window, I'm like, oh, people don't care about this.
That's really weird,
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. There's other things on the telly. Yeah. I refuse to believe it. I'm all in favour of Corrie, don't get me wrong, but how could you watch Corrie under those circumstances? What would be going up? Eddie Lazowski says that Villarreal could never have kept up the pace in the second half. I think that is very, very, very fair indeed. Jimmy Allen says any Spurs. Honestly, Jimmy, it's going to be a nightmare. We are all saying any Spurs. Bit of praise for you presenting 3 strikes.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is, from Scouser Pete. You enjoyed it, didn't you? Yeah, absolutely. T Subby saying, get that bus sorted out. Wheels are already in motion around that sort of thing. Don't worry at all. Villarreal definitely look knackered. They did indeed. Bit of chat about the weather. More of the pitch. Gavin Crawley, no one's talking about the awful pitch conditions. I completely agree. I think it was actually one of the things that knocked Liverpool out the rhythm first half was it wasn't as simple as the ball was holding up on the pitch. It was that sometimes the ball was holding up on the pitch, sometimes it was skidding off the pitch, sometimes it was behaving normally. And I think that just sort of, when Liverpool were already being sort of hit with mental doubt, more doubt sort of came because the ball wasn't doing what it was meant to when it was bouncing or when it was running on the ground.
Yeah, it was difficult conditions, and there was a point yesterday we were like, is this game even going to go ahead because the conditions were so bad? And then before the game, everyone was saying, oh, the pitch looks really good, the condition is perfect despite all the rain, but it absolutely wasn't. You saw every time they put their foot on the ground and the amount of surface water that there was, and obviously Liverpool aren't used to playing conditions like that. That's something like for a player like Thiago, I imagine really struggles with, who works with such precision and requires basically perfect conditions. And we're not going to go all Pep Guardiola, are we? And go all the grass wasn't perfect, but
that was me actually too Pep.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm big on the grass. I think that the pitch conditions do have more of a thing than you ever need to worry about. With Liam Whitty, people I'm not picking on you, Liam. Liam Whitty here, Chris's lad. Why do we keep kicking the ball long to the wings after every centre off? Loads of people have an established way of doing a kick-off. Ours is to get the ball up the other end of the pitch and have a 50-50. This comes up all the time on loads of the things I do. Yeah. The way we take kick-offs doesn't matter. It's genuinely almost irrelevant to all football. I think we'd almost be quite happy if it just went out for a throw to them. And that's genuinely our outlook, is we just want the ball to go from there all the way over to there, and then we'll just we'll work it out. It is an established football thing, has been for years, but everyone always asks. Someone Carr says that Michael Owen believes Virgil van Dijk is the best centre-back to have ever played. I think that's fair.
Very fair.
But one of the best things Michael Owen's ever said. Yeah. Very, very fair indeed.
I don't feel like he'd have enjoyed his position in the commentating team yesterday. Looked short, didn't he, bless him?
He did indeed. He did indeed. It was killing me, but also they were dressed terribly. Yeah. They were really weird. They looked like they got 3 different suits from different eras of crap 60 quid suits from Burton's. That's what they look like, the 3 of them lined up. And obviously there's the mouth of the south to the left doing his little thing as well. Ronnie Hot Dogs has to use an alias so his boss, who's also on tour, doesn't know that he's procrastinating. I hope his boss is also on here under an alias. It's like something like Billy Bratwurst or something like that to keep up the collective sausage theme. Where are we all the way through? Have we got anything else in there as well? Where are we? Questions asking for gutters. Now, I don't know if we've got a gutter lined up anytime soon, but for fuck's sake, the footballers are doing the football now. The football now is well better than thinking about the footballers who might be coming in to do the football next season.
Loads of people have asked for a gutter. I can't tell you how many people want a gutter.
They want a gutter.
I'm confused by it, but if we can sort a gutter out at some point, can't we?
I mean, gutters, we've got loads of them lined up for the summer.
Oh, yeah, loads.
We're not short of gutters.
No, we're not.
So, you know, but maybe we'll get one in between now and the end of the campaign in there as well. Will Healy says, big up to Harriet for a review debut too. I mean, what am I, chopped liver? What else have we got? Pitch was so wet, indeed. Yes, very, very much so. Doomsday says Neil is big on the grass. He is absolutely big on the grass. That is the way in which it works. What else? Anything else at all? Klopp says he relaxed the press to allow the players to play football and look for space instead. That's quite interesting. Post-match indeed. Rightio then. We will leave it there. It has been Talking Reds. Whatever you need around your Liverpool supporting life for the next few weeks, including a gutter, you will get from the Anfield Wrap. You've got t-shirts. We are doing an event on Thursday this week, that is tomorrow, fucking hell, in Metro Cola, which involves me talking about football kits, as Liverpool are launching their new kit tomorrow. And so, yeah. I normally don't know this stuff, but I do this time. I mean, you know, that's on the verge of me saying that was one of them, and so is this. There is this thing where it's in Metro Cola, so we're doing a history of Liverpool kits with Spark Design, who are two kit designers who've designed all sorts of kits going on for generations now, World Cup kits for countries and so on, and they've been rating kits for the last 12 months or so, and they're going to go through Liverpool kits with me. There'll be a bit of fun afterwards as well. We might actually get you to design a kit if you come along, so you can enjoy that. I think the link might be in the comments for this, but it might not be. We'll just sort of go from there. You can find it on the Anfield Wrap social. Anything else? Live in London on the 9th of July. Really looking forward to it. Hackney Earth in London. We will be live, the Anfield Wrap. It will be the business. We will be acclaiming the 7-time European champions. We will be acclaiming the 20-time league winners. I don't know how many League Cups there are. There'll be an FA Cup as well. The Reds aren't going to stop. They haven't just conquered all of Europe. They're going to do Earth too.